One-foot-flipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1-foot flipper. It's Sunday afternoon, and I think today we're going to talk about 8 shipping decisions that you need to make for your eBay store if you haven't made already, or if you've made them, maybe you want to reconsider them. Let's see, before we get into it, see if there's anything going on. Not too much, still not sourcing, still trying to shrink the store. I've made quite a lot of progress in my basement at making room, and had to buy some more tubs, working upstairs as well, but that's boring. You don't care about it, so let's move on from it. First thing you want to look at is, are you going to be a free shipping seller? You hear people talk about this a lot. I don't personally think that free shipping is going to be the best decision for the majority of general picking type of resellers, because when you're a general picker, you're going to have items in a lot of different weight ranges. Something that costs 5 pounds can cost $7.20 to ship to one place and can cost $30 to ship to another place. That's too much of a range for me. I think free shipping is really the domain of either extremely light items or multi-quantity sellers of brand new items who can just figure it in and are going to be selling those same items over and over again. Take this hat off. I don't normally wear hats, so that's why I put free shipping on almost nothing myself, but you may have a different experience and you might want to do something different, and that might work for you. Do a couple sales. I sold this 1986 New Bright Western train station building. It's got wired for lights, but the lights don't work. That was in the description. Sold for $19.94. Came from the big train buy. I've finally got my new mascots in. These are death pile monsters. I was unable to find more urine off dogs anywhere or have anything, and I don't think I have enough following to have these things made. So I decided to go with these little death pile monsters instead, plus I can sell them much cheaper. This one is going out to viewer Chris, who wanted me to be sure and have all you check out his YouTube channel, Helo's World. I'll put a link to it down in the description. He sold for $5.99. I've got these in my store now, and every one of them comes with a shout out in a video, whatever you want me to say, within reason. I sold an empty box for $62.99. It's basically empty. It's just a Wargaming Banker box, and it's got 7 inserts for all your plastic and metal tanks and goblins or whatever it is you want to put in there. This sold in one day. I put it up at $69.99 because I sold a similar box at that price a while back, and sent out an offer a few hours later, and it sold. And I sold this Disney Applause Mickey and Pals Minnie Mouse, $3.28. She's not very good. We only picked her up because she still had her tag, but apparently she shows up still with the tag quite a lot. All right, Julie wanted to show off something she's about to list on eBay real quick. What do you got here, Jules?
This is a very large version of the Beanie Boo Kiki.
Oh, she's real pretty. You gonna retire on her to make room for some new plush?
Yes. Probably just getting rid of it because I need to.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuffed animals in that girl's room, so this should be available in the store by the time you see the video. All right, now we'll get back to our topic at hand. Thank you, Julie. Okay, next thing you're going to think about in your shipping is eBay business policies for shipping. Now, half of you are going to have no idea what I'm talking about at all. Some YouTubers who do eBay-related content seem to have no idea what that is. But basically, when you've got an eBay store, you can access something called shipping policies and make all sorts of shipping rules. Like, my light things, like, on one of my account, my light items like this, I just have a shipping rule. It's called GANs because I started off doing it for GANs Christmas ornaments. But it'll charge, you put this in the cart, it'll charge $5 for shipping. If you add another small item with that same shipping rule, on that account, it's not going to change the shipping whatsoever. So you could add this death pile monster here. You add 20 of them, it wouldn't matter. gonna keep the shipping $5. One of those things where I don't care. If somebody buys a whole bunch of them and I gotta go up to priority shipping, I don't care, I'm happy. And on my other account, I have basically the same rule set up, except I do believe it adds 50 cents per item. I have rules made up for everything, so I am not picking one-off shipping things. On every single item, I'm gonna pick something when I'm on the list and the drop-down list. Maybe it's that. On my new account, I just call that first class. I have another one for media mail. It adds, and my media mail shipping rate is also based on paying for a record mailer. Because on half my media mail items, there's a record mailer involved. And on the other half, sometimes the item weighs more than a pound. So either way, I've got a media mail rate that does the same thing, and it adds a little bit for each item passed. I've got a priority mail rate that I use for items that are generally under 10 pounds. I have another rate that I call UPS, and that's based on UPS rate. I use that for items over 10 pounds. And then I've got a few specialty ones. I've got one that I call bats. I use that for anything that's going to ship in a big long box. That's usually a flat $10 rate based on UPS rates, and I ship bats and golf clubs and things like that at that rate. Let's see, what did we sell here? I sold a really awesome cooler. It's a Gott Sportsman Sport Cooler 12 tote lunchbox. See, it's got the cool graphics of the fishermen and everything on there. This sold for $19.67 and $20 shipping. I'll probably make a little bit back on the shipping on this one because I can probably send it UPS for cheaper than what it says there. I sold a little bag of train parts. These are locking clips for tracks. Sold this little bag for $7.99. I have quantity on those. Those came from the big train buy I had. There was just a massive box of those things. I dropped things, and I sold a Flying Aces magazine from 1945. It's got a Republic Thunderbolt on the cover, $8.99. This is from the huge lot of aviation magazines that I bought for 20 or 30 bucks a while back. It quickly paid for itself with a couple of very expensive singles that sold for 50 or 60 bucks all on their own, and now the other ones are slowly filtering out there. I also sold this Rubbermaid lid for $5.99. This came out of a Tupperware container that I purchased for 2 or 3 bucks that has long since paid for itself. Your third thing you're going to want to think about is, are you going to use any sort of off eBay shipping services? I'd suggest you at the very minimum sign up for Pirate Ship and check that. It's going to give you access to cubic rates that are going to be cheaper for small, heavy packages. And they're also going to allow you to access media mail for categories that eBay blocks media mail in. Now, I'm not talking about doing this to cheat media mail. I'm talking about doing this because eBay has media mail blocked in all sorts of categories that frequently contain media. But then at the same time, they have media mail wide open in categories like toys and kitchen appliances that never contain media. The only rule, it seems to be, is they only seem to have started closing off categories that frequently contain media, because somebody up at top would probably prefer you choose that book category with the higher final value fee rather than sell that media in a different category with a lower final value fee. Makes sense. eBay wants to make money just like you do. I sold 2 sets of Bachmann timber trestles, $19.99 each, plus shipping. I might lose a tiny bit on the shipping on these because these use one of my shipping rules where these are just light enough to go first class and not only charging an extra $1 or 50 cents for the second one. That'll probably put this up to priority, but I don't care. I still made plenty of money on the item, and it's actually very rare that my shipping rules actually do cause me to lose any money. It doesn't come up very often. Let's see, I sold some record albums. At least I think I sold some record albums. Here we go. I haven't made a video in several days, so there's a lot more sales than usual here. Bee Gees, main course, $7.19. And Gary Newman, The Pleasure Principle, $24.99. Not bad. So that's a bolo if you see that, because this isn't even in great shape. Are you going to do international shipping? If you do international shipping, are you going to ship directly yourself? And that opens you up to possibly costly international returns, paying final value fees on that costly international shipping. Or are you going to use the eBay service, which kind of wipes all that off the table, but definitely charges your customers a lot more extra money? Or are you just not going to do it at all? Those are all very valid things. What I don't think is valid is that you see some people saying magically you can wake up your eBay store by turning off international shipping or turning it back on. That's just people doing random things, and randomness happens in their life, and they think because they did a thing that a result happened. I severely doubt toggling your international shipping on and off is going to have much any effect on your account at all. I sold this Hulk Hogan, $49.99. He would be a much more valuable plush item than that, but he's got stains on him. He's got a bunch of little, I don't know what they are, but he's got a bunch of little black spots or ink stains or something. They did not come off in the wash, so he went for cheaper than normal, but I'm sure the buyer will still love him, especially if you set him back up high somewhere in a collection. You're not even going to notice any of that. Oh, and my dog hates this thing. My dog thinks that this is a real person and growls at it every time she sees it. I sold a stack of Lobo comic books, 6 of them all together, issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 14, and 15. Yeah, weird to have that. $7.19. Came from the big long box comic books I bought for somewhere between 20 and 40 month or two ago. Pretty sure that box has already paid for itself, so all profit from there on out. I'm not the hugest fan of comics because I don't like that most of them aren't worth the cost of shipping, but if you find a collection that's got long runs of the same title, then you can always lot them up and make your money. And that's why I bought the box that those came out of, because it had huge long runs of the same titles. That 6 issues there was one of the shortest runs. And I sold 2 Department 56s items, a Dickens Village Nephew Fred's Flat, and a ye old lamplighter. These went through the international program, and I think these are going to bite me somehow, because I have in my listings for these Christmas items that I'll combine shipping if you buy more than one. And then somebody bought these 2 separate transactions through the eBay international program. I have no way to combine that shipping. It won't let you. Even though they're going to the same customer, I can't even combine, I can't combine the package out there, the outgoing, or anything. So I'm expecting some sort of complaint on that. I might have to change going forward what text I put in my listings like that doesn't apply to international or something, or I might just turn international off. I don't do a huge amount of international sales. It's 1% of my business at best. All right, 5th thing, sharing shipping discounts. There's a few different levels of this. Your worst level is actually not using any shipping discounts, going to the post office and purchasing all your postage at the counter. And there's even a worse level of that, is going to the post office and using nothing but priority flat rate boxes purchased at the counter. Believe it or not, there are eBay sellers who do this. There are eBay sellers who've been doing this for 20 plus years. You'll see them creep up in the eBay forums when they'll post, "Why aren't my items selling?" And they'll be like, "You've got $27 shipping on this item." "Oh, well, yeah, because that's what the flat rate box cost at the counter." And, it'll be an item that could be shipped for $7 if they just didn't use a flat rate box and bought it through eBay. But the bigger decision is whether or not you share that eBay shipping discount. I don't share it for 2 reasons. Number one is, remember, eBay is going to charge that 13% eBay fee on any shipping cost I charge. Number 2, I often have shipping supplies to pay for. And number 3, I never want to put myself in a situation where I am spending money to ship an item out, and I would have done better if I'd have just thrown the item in the trash. Because I've got a really big store. I mark things down en masse, which means I've got to absolutely make sure that the shipping amount charged will absolutely cover the complete shipping, even if I only got $1.99 for the item and the item weighs 30 pounds. I've never had that particular scenario happen, but I always want to be prepared for it. Oh, and for that matter, are you going to buy yourself a thermal printer? You're going to print off on a normal paper printer and tape the labels on? You're going to get a thermal printer? If you do, are you going to get that Rollo printer that everybody's telling you to buy? Or are you going to spend this less money on a used Zebra printer, which is what most big time companies actually use? I go with the Zebras. Rollos are not as heavy duty. They target the casual market, reseller market. You don't tend to see Rollos in place in high production facilities. You don't see a Rollo on the counter at UPS. You see a Zebra there. So I suggest a used Zebra over a Rollo, even without the price difference, because a used Zebra is cheaper than a new Rollo is. And there's no really reason to buy a new Zebra. A used one will probably outlast your entire reselling career. I've been on the same one for years. It's printed probably 50,000 labels for me, and it was 7 years old when I got it. Let's see what else we got. We got another record here. Nilsson and Ringo Starr, Son of Dracula, $11. Took an offer on that. Well, they sent me an unsolicited offer because I don't have offers on one of my stores. I had it for 12. They offered 10 or something like that, and I came back at 11, and they bought it. I sold this Earthworm Jim mini lunchbox. This was originally a pseudo consignment item for Fox Hunter, but about a month ago he traded me everything he had left in consignment for a nice dinner. So that'll all be mine at this point. He didn't have much left in here anyway. And I sold a couple of little Warhammer pieces. It looks like there's a hammer and some sort of gun. Those go to big metal science fiction mech figures. And they sold for $19.98 for the pair, going to the same person. Are you going to give your customers shipping choices? Are you going to let them choose between UPS and FedEx and the post office? Are you going to offer faster than normal shipping? You're going to offer overnight shipping? In my case, I don't give my customers any shipping choices whatsoever. I have learned from working in a high volume web retailer that the customers who want expedited shipping tend to be problem customers at a rate you wouldn't believe. The first off is that they're going to start that shipping clock in their mental mind. They're going to start that clock the second they put the order in. If they order something 8:30 p.m. on Friday night for overnight, they're going to expect that to be there Saturday morning. Or Saturday. Doesn't matter what your handling time is or anything like that. That's when they're going to expect that item to be there. And because of that, a lot of times they really need that item time sensitive. Because of that, there's a high return rate, a high claim rate, and the other people who don't mind paying extra for shipping are people who are using other people's credit cards, so there's a high rate of fraud with expedited shipping as well. And then at the same time, you're paying all these fees on this faster than normal shipping, and then if the person returns the item, or you get forced into a return, you're losing out on that insane amount of shipping money you paid. So I don't offer my customers any shipping options. I used to previously offer a couple of different levels of shipping with trading cards, and I had found every time somebody picked something other than the cheapest, and I asked them about it, they'd say it was an accident. They say they didn't realize what they did, and they would prefer the cheaper shipping option and to get the money back. All right, what else do we got? Avalon Hill Bookshelf Game of France, 1940. This is one of the more common Avalon Hill games, but it always sells eventually. I've sold this one 3 or 4 times over the years. $14.57. I believe I found this one at the Goodwill outlet. I also got a Blue Max war game. This is an airplane-based game. This is a custom lot. It says not a complete game. It's got some stuff added to it, and the rule book is missing. Sold for $11.33. I know the rule book is missing because I sold it in a different listing a year ago. This came in a huge collection, which a lot of the stuff was separated out, and I found the rule book 6 or 8 months or a year before I found the rest of this box set. And I sold another one of these little mini 16-page D&D adventures, Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, $4.49. Still have plenty of quantity on that. Number 7, you're going to source your own boxes. So you can use UPS because UPS is often cheaper. Or you're going to go with the simplicity of just shipping everything in USPS free priority mailboxes. And that's really that's the kind of decision I think would be based on my level of reselling. Since I'm full-time, I want to save that UPS money every single time. I don't care if stuff has to go to UPS every day. That's not bothering me. But if I only was shipping a couple of packages a day, I'd probably not even worry about UPS, and I'd probably just go with the priority boxes on everything. What do we got here? We got Jefferson Starship, Modern Times, and the Mahavishnu Orchestra. $7.18 for the pair. Same customer. And where'd he go? He's hiding. Well, pretend you can see him. It doesn't matter. I'll just hold something else similar up. I sold a Warhammer Metal Eldar Rogue Era Space Elf Cannon Crewman. What I'm actually holding up is a Blood Bowl figure, but it's something very similar. Sold for $7.28. Oh, somehow this didn't get on the list, but I'll list it right now. Sold this War to End Wars 3W board game. I think this only sold for $10. Very slow sell-through rate. It took years to sell that. Eighth and final thing is handling time. Where are you going to set your handling time? Now, I found real life handling time to really only be important to your placement within the algorithm, because most people aren't really looking at handling time on their own, and the ones who are tend to be problem customers. So if you're selling clothes, or if you 3, 2, 1, if most of your items are items that are very dependent on the eBay algorithm for placement, such as clothes, or if you've got nothing but weird antiques or glass, you might want to go with that 1-day handling time or even same-day handling time. For everybody else, I suggest a 3-day handling time. That doesn't penalize you in the placement, but it also doesn't give you premium placement. But most important, it means that you're hardly ever going to get a late shipment ding. While if you have same-day handling or next-day handling, you're probably going to get some late shipments, or fairly frequently get late shipments just from things that don't end up getting scanned in time, or things that you don't manage to ship on time, especially same day. If you've got same day, you've actually got to go and make sure they scan each and every item, which I don't do at all. I go 6 months without even walking into the post office. All right, well, that's been a long one. Thanks everybody for watching. If you've got any suggestions for new videos, go ahead and post them down in the comments. Be sure and tell your Aunt Jerry about this channel. I think she was watching it first. I saw her in the comments at first, but she might have forgotten about it because I haven't seen her in the comments in a very long time. And I've got those new Death Pile monsters in the store, so get them before I run out of them. Thanks. Bye.